Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Before we begin, let me ask, how can acupuncture be applied to treat complex neurological conditions effectively? If you're curious about how to integrate acupuncture into neurology, today's course will provide the tools and knowledge you need. My name is Myra Chen, and I'm your host and moderator for today's eLotus webinar. Here at eLotus, we have been hosting educational courses for over 3 decades, and we are proud to be your trusted source for premium CU content with over 200 speakers, 700 courses, and 3,000 hours of CE. We're thrilled to present today's class, Pragmatic Neuroacupuncture, exploring the intersection of neurology and acupuncture. In this class, you will gain a solid foundation in neuroacupuncture techniques, learn how to integrate various approaches, and see how acupuncture can be applied to real-world neurological cases. We'll also cover how to collaborate with allied neuro providers to optimize patient outcomes and contribute to setting professional standards for neuroacupuncture. We are so excited to introduce our new speaker to the eLotus platform, Dr. Jennifer Williams, a national board-certified doctor of acupuncture medicine and herbalist licensed in Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. Dr. Williams operates 2 acupuncture clinics, a farm, and a retreat, while also serving as a CU/PDA provider for NCCAOM. She is on faculty at the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences and chairs international committees for both Yunnan University of Chinese Medicine and the American Society of Acupuncture. With her expertise in chronic neurological conditions, brain injuries, and severe pain, Dr. Williams masterfully blends ancient wisdom with modern science, delivering focused treatment strategies for sustained outcomes. And now, before we dive in, please set your chat to everyone so we can all engage in conversation. And please use the Q&A box for any questions during the webinar. And don't forget, for those earning CU credits, that the quiz will be available the next business day late afternoon for all eligible attendees. And now let's get started with today's webinar, and please join me in welcoming Dr. Jennifer Williams.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay?
Good morning, Dr. Williams.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Perfect. Thank you. Aha. Well, there we go. I had to come have another screen. Okay, so great to see you all. You already got an introduction to my background, so there's a little glimpse of it again. I am definitely a passionate and dedicated acupuncturist, and I am very excited to bring this information. And I'm so happy to see so many people here. Some of you I know and some of you I don't. So it's a pleasure to meet you. I have over 15 years experience in practice. My work specializes in integrative neurological care and the treatment of complex conditions using acupuncture, herbal medicine, and multidisciplinary differential diagnosis. It is truly an honor to present for eLotus, a platform with a rich history of excellence in providing high-quality education for practitioners of Chinese medicine. For some time, as Mina mentioned, eLotus has been providing high-quality education for practitioners, and it's been the cornerstone of our community, bringing together experts from around the world to share knowledge, foster growth, and support the mission of advancing the art and science of medicine. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to Tina Chen for inviting me to share my knowledge and experience with all of you today. Her dedication to curating educational opportunities for practitioners has been instrumental in elevating our field and connecting our global community. I invite you to discover what she shares on social media, a truly eclectic range of approaches to this medicine. Lastly, thanks to each of you for taking the time to attend this presentation. Your commitment to learning and professional growth inspires the continued evolution of our practice and its integration into modern healthcare. I look forward to sharing insights and techniques with you today, and I hope this session provides valuable tools to enhance your work with patients. We'll have 3 10-minute breaks during the presentation. The first section is the shortest and likely the least interesting, but it's important to establish the groundwork. I'm hoping to get through the material at a logical tempo so we have extra time at the end for questions. I recommend that you formulate questions as we move through the material, since some of your initial questions may be answered as we build on the information. I encourage you to ask questions and interact in the comments sections with everyone. This may help you develop meaningful questions when I'm done with the content portion of the presentation. So again, we've got 4 sections here with this, and we'll begin with a short exploration of the evolution of neurology, a field that has transformed dramatically over centuries. The second section delves into core frameworks, underpinnings of neuroacupuncture. In the third section, we will focus on applying these frameworks through integration and strategic intervention. Lastly, we will have a case study that will cover my techniques that I've integrated from the neurological frameworks that'll be introduced in section 3. Well, actually 2 and 3. In section 2, you'll meet the different instructors that I've learned from, and then in section 3, you'll see videos from them. So when we hear from the leaders in this field of neurological acupuncture, and as they share their insights on their professional journey and their development of neurological frameworks, I want you to think about how you would like to develop your practice that's based on your population and your interest. The aim of this presentation is to inspire you to learn and weave a variety of threads into the fabric of your own practice that aligns with both your interests and the needs of your patient population. This section is about understanding the synergy between neurology and acupuncture, highlighting the evolution of neuroacupuncture as a modern, evidence-based specialty. We'll briefly cover the historical development of neurology, examine the collaborative role of allied neurologists, and delve into how neuroacupuncture has emerged as a bridge between traditional and modern medical approaches. The goal is to equip you with a comprehensive understanding of how these disciplines intersect to enhance patient care for neurological disorders. Ancient civilizations laid the groundwork for their observations of the brain's role in sensation and thought. René Descartes and Luigi Galvani expanded Western understanding through discoveries in reflexes and bioelectricity. Today, advancements in imaging technology such as MRI and AI-driven analysis enable us to diagnose neurological conditions with unparalleled precision. But Western neurology offers limited treatment options and outcomes. That brings us to allied neurologists. These are practitioners who integrate functional and holistic approaches into patient care. These specialists, ranging from neuroacupuncturists to neurofeedback therapists, emphasize non-invasive methods to optimize brain function. Together, they form multidisciplinary teams that bridge gaps in care, ensuring comprehensive solutions for complex neurological issues. Finally, we explore the rise of neuroacupuncture, a specialty that merges traditional acupuncture techniques with modern neurological insights. By addressing conditions like stroke recovery and chronic pain, neuroacupuncture not only complements Western medicine, and I say that with a cringe because I think as we emerge as a profession, we're going to do more than complement. I think we can actually help change medicine. We also open the doors to innovative treatment frameworks. We'll discuss its emergence, standards, and the need for collaborative efforts to establish its role in global healthcare systems. Ancient Greek and Egyptian scholars observed the brain's role in sensation and thought. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, which is like 1600 BC or earlier, is one of the oldest medical texts, providing evidence of the Egyptians' understanding of brain injuries and their effects. Hippocrates, which is 460 to 370 BCE, later expanded on the brain's role in thought and sensation, further influencing Western medicine. The European scientific revolution was around 1500 to 1700 AD. This marked significant advancements in science, including anatomy and neurology, building on earlier discoveries. For example, René Descartes explored reflexes in the 17th century, and Louis Galvani's work with bioelectricity emerged in the late 18th century. The Age of Enlightenment, which is 1685 to 1815 AD, saw further intellectual progress and laid groundwork for modern science, including neurology. The Ling Shu, or the pivotal spirit, traditionally attributed to the Warring States period 475 to 220 BCE, is part of the Huangdi Neijing, or the Yellow Emperor's inner canon. It is a foundational text in Chinese medicine and is over 2,300 years old. The Ling Shu provides detailed descriptions of meridians, acupuncture points, and their functions, which align closely with the peripheral nervous system's organization. This suggests a sophisticated understanding of anatomy and physiology for its time. Modern scholars like Tony Chang have noted that acupuncture points often correspond to nerve junctions or regions with significant neurovascular structures. This alignment underscores the advancement or the advanced observational skills of early Chinese physicians. Thus, the organized schematic of the peripheral nervous system described in the Ling Shu predates European discoveries on reflexes and bioelectricity by approximately 1900 years. I'm not good at math, so feel free to correct that, if you will. Today, advancements in molecular biology allows us to see the nervous system in unprecedented detail, offering insights that were unimaginable even a few decades ago. However, therapeutic treatment options are limited and yield limited results in terms of recovery and rehabilitation in the area of neurology. Technological breakthroughs have transformed neurology. Imaging techniques like MRI and PET scans provide non-invasive views of the brain activity and structure, critical for diagnosing conditions like strokes or tumors. Brain-computer interfaces are enabling patients with paralysis to communicate and regain mobility. AI-driven tools analyze complex neurological data, helping predict disease progression and tailor personalized treatments. These advances create exciting opportunities to integrate these tools into acupuncture practice, particularly for precision targeted therapies. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to adapt and reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Acupuncture plays a significant role in promoting this adaptability. Research shows it can enhance neuroplasticity by stimulating areas of the brain associated with recovery after injuries such as stroke or traumatic brain injuries, by influencing neurotransmitter release such as serotonin and dopamine. Acupuncture can also help regulate mood and pain, providing a pathway for functional recovery. Acupuncture's role in neurology lies in its ability to stimulate neuroplasticity, the brain's capacity to reorganize itself. Studies show acupuncture influences neurotransmitter release, including serotonin and dopamine, again, which are crucial for mood regulation and pain management. It also modulates the autonomic nervous system, providing recovery in stroke, brain injuries, and chronic pain. When integrated with physical therapy or neurorehabilitation, acupuncture enhances outcomes, particularly in cases where conventional treatments fall short. The intersection of neurology and acupuncture is not merely a blending of ancient and modern practices, but it's also a testament to the shared goal of enhancing patient outcomes. Historically, acupuncture's precision in targeting the peripheral nervous system was unmatched in its time, as evidenced by the detailed schematics in the Ling Shu. This ancient text serves as a bridge to contemporary neuroscience, which now validates acupuncture's mechanisms through imaging and molecular studies. Today, the emergence of neuroacupuncture reflects the necessity of addressing the limitations of conventional neurology. Conditions such as stroke, traumatic brain injury, chronic neurological disorders often demand innovative approaches beyond pharmacological, or surgical interventions. Neuroacupuncture complements these treatments by leveraging the brain's inherent ability to heal and adapt, neuroplasticity. By integrating advanced technologies such as functional MRI and AI-driven analytics into acupuncture research and practice, we gain insights into its effectiveness on brain activity and connectivity. This integration fosters collaborative opportunities between neurologists, neuroacupuncturists, and other allied professionals, creating multidisciplinary solutions that fill critical gaps in care. Ultimately, the synergy between neurology and acupuncture exemplifies a forward-thinking approach to medicine, one that combines tradition, evidence-based practice, and cutting-edge technology to refine possibilities in treating complex neurological conditions. So with all of that being said, have you observed changes in patients' neural function after acupuncture, particularly in those recovering from injuries? And let me see if I have, let me go look at the chat. Yes. So I see a lot of yeses. What I would like really is something a little more specific. Can we share here? Can anyone actually come on and share um, these observed changes? Or if you can put more detail in there, I can read it.
Yeah, they can't use the microphone, but you guys can definitely put it in the chat box.
Okay, great. And I'm going to expand that out a little bit so I can look at that. Um, the reason I'm asking this question is because there's so many variables in what I'm presenting. And the more information I have from what people have experienced, it helps me to expand that because I keep talking about stroke and um, and other neurovascular events, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, but there's so much more than that. So here we go. Scalp acupuncture for facial paralysis, both sensory and motor related. So thank you. Um, after removal of brain tumor, thank you. Bell's palsy, chronic pain, smaller region in the area of complex regional dystrophy. Nice. Okay, good. So I'm getting the impression that um, there's a lot of people here with a lot of experience with neurological presentations and treatments. I've noticed with my patients who come in with a nervous system dysfunction that leads to tremors. Nice. Okay. I'm going to put this chat back down so that you can. All right. So allied neurologists. And I'm going to tell you a quick story of why I'm talking about allied neurologists. Maybe about a year ago, I was asked to treat a doctor who had a spinal cord injury. He was thrown off of a horse. And um, he had been doing well, and then he got COVID. And even though he didn't have any signs or symptoms, he started locking up. He was working with a neurophysical therapist. I didn't know they existed. This was new for me. And actually, it's a very organized association that they have, organized in training, organized in thought. Um, I encourage you to go look at what they've done because I think that we should do it as acupuncturists, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But they've already created the groundwork for that. And I was very impressed with the depth of knowledge and ability. But they couldn't do what I could do with all the training I have in neuroacupuncture. So I went to Wilmington and I saw this doctor who was locking up, and he was getting physical therapy every day, but the neurophysical therapist was working with him about 3 days a week, and he was also very determined. And after a few treatments, and I think he's actually on my website, he has a little testimonial. It didn't take long to do a little bit of acupuncture to really get his function and his movement. And I don't know if you're aware or not, but usually with a spinal cord injury, people are paralyzed. He has a partial, and I think a lot of people with the severity of his presentation would be very limited in their movement, but he was also very determined. He's now running. And it was interesting working with this neuro PT because there was information she had that um, was so advanced in her area that I wouldn't want to duplicate it. I would want to have a neuro PT doing that area of the work. So let's go on to slide 10. And so this is why I'm bringing in this allied neurologist. And it's not just neurophysical therapists, it's neuro chiropractors. There's neuro speech pathologists. There's just a whole line of um, different professionals branching out and developing this very strong groundwork that I think will adapt well in an integrated setting. Functional neurologists work across disciplines to optimize brain function by using invasive methods, or I'm sorry, non-invasive methods, such as sensory stimulation, acupuncture, and neurofeedback. The approach emphasizes exercises, manual therapies, and techniques like low light laser to restore motor control and balance. I'm going to take a little pause there because maybe not everyone is aware of laser. And so I'm going to give you a very quick overview and we'll go on just so that everyone's on the same page. There's an umbrella called neuro um, mm, uh, it's a long word, now I can't say it. Biomodulation. Um, and so under that umbrella, there's the LED lights, which are non-coherent, and they're not going to hurt your eyes. They're very safe. It takes a while to get a nice dose of it, but it's generally safe. People can use it at home, and that's a level 1. And then you get into lasers, which are more focused light. So it's a coherent light. And so this is when it starts elevating in classifications. So you can go as high as a 3B as an acupuncturist and use it in your clinic. Once you hit level 4, it has to be a physician, has to be a physician office. It requires special wiring. And those are about $50,000 to $75,000. But you can get handhelds that have very good therapeutic technology integrated in that system. So when I talk about low light laser, I am talking about like a 3B laser, what we can use as acupuncturists. And what that's doing is healing the mitochondria of the cell in instant time. For example, I use an Avant, and there's other devices out there. I'm not promoting Avant, but in this particular device, I can target certain tissue. So I can target nerves, I can target inflammation. I can have a more focus on pain, for example, or restoration. And there's different frequencies, there's different light spectrums. But when I talk about low light laser, I just want to give everybody um, kind of a groundwork. And I think that low light laser works very well with acupuncture because one of the tertiary effects of acupuncture is healing the mitochondria of the cell. Mitochondria is the power horse that makes the ATP, makes the energy. So that's how I like to describe acupuncture as an energetic medicine because it has this tertiary effect of helping the mitochondria, amongst other things. So by addressing conditions such as concussion and neurodegenerative diseases, we can create targeted interventions that are thought to complement or even advance modern medical practices. However, I find myself busy with interventions that far exceed modern medical practices. And it sounds like a lot of you do as well. Integrative healthcare emphasizes the mind-body connection using acupuncture, biofeedback, and mindfulness techniques to address neurological conditions holistically. Personalized treatment models that combine conventional and alternative methods like low light laser therapy and nutritional counseling are particularly effective in treating complex conditions. These approaches not only enhance neurological health, but also improve overall well-being. Multidisciplinary neuro teams bring together neurologists, acupuncturists, neurochiropractors, and neurophysical therapists to develop comprehensive care plans. These teams streamline communication through regular meetings and share diagnostic tools, improving continuity of care. Collaboration fosters innovation, leading to breakthroughs in prevention, early intervention, and treatment of neurological disorders. I believe true multidisciplinary teams are the current goal for advancing outcomes in healthcare. In fact, there's 193 healthcare systems in the world. As we know, or as you may not know, the United States is the most expensive and has some of the poorer outcomes in industrialized nations. There's a lot of countries who are now working in these paradigms of collaborative teams, and I hope to see that happen more and more in the United States. And I think that there's been a start to that. Um, um, and I think that that's really part of the future of medicine. Um, One big obstacle is an ongoing misunderstanding of acupuncture's potential in many settings, where many providers have strong concepts of acupuncture that are largely inaccurate. And I believe that we will continue changing those misconceptions. Neuroacupuncture bridges traditional acupuncture with neurological science, targeting conditions such as stroke recovery, spinal cord injuries, and chronic pain syndromes. And I keep saying chronic pain syndromes, and when I say that, I really mean very significant complex pain that has been very hard to manage through a lot of other means. And I want to emphasize that I believe that we can do much more than pain. I really believe that the power of neuroacupuncture is for functional, but we have to get people out of pain in order to function better. By combining Eastern and Western practices, these specialties appeal to patients seeking effective non-invasive treatments for complex conditions. It fills a unique niche in healthcare, offering solutions where conventional approaches may fall short. And I'm not anti-Western medicine. I mean, I think it's great, especially for emergencies, and I'm not against it. I really believe that we can help improve the way healthcare is delivered in this country. The establishment of professional standards in neuroacupuncture is critical for its credibility. An organizational concept such as the Academy of Neurological Acupuncture could ensure practitioners receive rigorous training, blending theoretical knowledge and clinical practice. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. Like I said before, we can look at the Academy of Neurological Physical Therapy, which is, I think, neuropt.org as a model. Continuing education under this umbrella would help keep practitioners updated on advancements, fostering a robust framework for integrating acupuncture with neurological care. A call for neuroacupuncture specialists, researchers, and educators can advocate for the field and elevate its recognition globally. Initiatives like peer-reviewed Journal of Neurological Acupuncture, I just made this up, and research collaborations with hospitals and universities would validate the practice efficacy. United efforts could establish neuroacupuncture as an essential part of modern healthcare. So, what role do you think a correlation or journal could play in advancing the field of neuroacupuncture? And what kind of standards or certificates would you find most beneficial in advancing your practice? I'm going to bring up the chat again and look for answers. And let me... Again, I know that was a little bit boring, but I think it's important to lay down that groundwork. Yes. And so I'm looking at the chat box now. It is legitimate. Oh, is it legal in California to use a 3B? Absolutely. When I started researching the low light lasers, I did a lot of research on legality through states and through federal. And absolutely, throughout the United States, we can use up to a 3B laser. So thank you for asking. Oh, yeah. So I'm asking, what role do you think a coalition or journal could play in advancing the field of neuroacupuncture? And what kind of standards or certificates would you find most beneficial in advancing your practice? And I ask that again because I'm curious to see how many people who are already doing neurological acupuncture either know that there's neurological PTs and this very robust framework for that. And I think chiropractors are right behind them. So the chiropractor neurologists are right behind that. So it's curious to see how many people realize this already exists, and if they can start to imagine that this call for a coalition might be beneficial. One problem someone sees with neuroacupuncture certificate is the cost. Right now, one of the folks who teaches neuroacupuncture charges 3,000 to 5,000 for a class. I don't know who that person is, um, but I can tell you that I haven't paid that much for a class. Um, ah, Jason Howe. Okay. Um, that's pretty incredible. The scalp acupuncture. I've never taken his classes, but I've been very curious about it. I think certification would be helpful when trying to integrate with Western medicine physicians. Exactly. Um, and someone had asked a question. Let me scroll up about um, hmm, what low light. Uh, the laser I use is the Avant. If we have time at the end, I will grab my little device out of my bag and I'll show you what it looks like. Ah, um, yeah, I agree. It can be very expensive. Um, I'm working with Dr. Jing Liu, who's one of the many practitioners that you will meet today that I will introduce, that I've learned from. And we're doing 2 classes this spring, and I'm not trying to plug her class, but I'll be teaching some of the combined techniques I'm going to show here. And that'll be in the Bay Area, the end of March, and in Colorado Springs in May. And I think right now, if you sign up, it's like $400 for the weekend. So $400 for what Dr. Jing Li would teaches is pretty incredible. Um, but it's a very intense 2 days, and she will throw in a bonus 2 hours on the first day for anyone who's interested in extra information. So she's big on sharing. Um, was not in person and felt like, you're 50. So I don't know whose class you're talking about, Sandra. And I'm so sorry it turned out to be a bad experience. Um, great. Yeah, it looks like eLotus has a lot of classes available for scalp acupuncture and stroke Parkinson's, very affordable, outstanding. A laser class I recommend. I I actually just got asked yesterday if I would do a laser class for Avant. I guess there's not many acupuncturists using it, but it seems that the laser is so in line with acupuncture, it's odd that many of us aren't. I have other theories about that. Um, I will be happy to share the information on when that class is. It's, I think, the middle of March, which is not much time, but um, and again, I'm not pushing any one particular, I just know this particular unit. And I have looked at other units that I can recommend as well, just to be very partial. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Okay, well, we got over this boring. I think it's going to get much more interesting as we go into the next sections. What is your prerequisite for the weekend class with, oh, you mean with Dr. Jing Liu? There's no prerequisite at all. You have to be a licensed acupuncturist to take the class. But other than that, there's no prerequisite. Um, and there's so many other classes out there. Again, Dr. Jing Liu, that may not be the class you want to start off with. But Xing Nai Kai Chao is kind of where I started. I got the book from Dr. Shui Min. It's a huge 2-volume book that was I believe, translated by Dr. Suzanne Robideau. Amazing piece of work. But when I'm reading about Chinai Kai Chao, I'm not really understanding how to do the acupuncture because it's very technical. And this is where Dr. Jing Liu comes in. She learned directly with Shui Min. She's worked with him for 20 years. So the technical hands-on that she teaches is quite robust. And she won't do it online. You have to do it in person. But that's one of many frameworks that all work together. And I'm going to introduce that in the next sections. Yes, I will look up his book and get that posted during the break. Um, mm, and it's almost time for a break, but we got about 10 more minutes. Not boring to you? Okay, great. Well, thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. Um, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay. Is anybody else familiar with Dr. Shershway-Men's book? Photobiomodulation. That was the name I couldn't think of. I actually have a PowerPoint that I created when I was trying to learn about this myself. Carolyn Wilkinson introduced this to me. She worked at the VA in Chicago, and she was using this at the VA to do acupuncture or alternate acupuncture. And I find you can use it in lieu of or in conjunction with. And I'm happy to share that it's free. I just share it with people. Yes. So during the break, I'll look up that. Are there any other questions? I think what we can do is take an early break and come back in about 10 minutes because I think the next section will be longer. And that way I'm able to provide all of the content in here.
That sounds
Any
good.
other questions? I'm sorry?
Oh, I said that sounds good if you want to take a break early.
Okay, because the next section is longer.
Okay,
So
so we can take a 10-minute break. All right, we'll resume class at 11:50 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you, Dr. Williams.
my pleasure. Thank you. I'm going to see if I can't find this Dr. Shershwayman book.
Recording stopped.
Here it is. And here it is.